Switch off.
Hi everybody, it's Beverly and Gretchen is sitting in her nose to nose. Look at that pretty girl. Hey, sweet girl. And she's got her bone in here and her toy. And this video is all about Gretchen and what Gretchen needs to be a very effective and comfortable and happy guide dog, or I can't even see your eyes, seeing eye dog. She's in her crate, in her soft-sided crate, in her nose-to-nose, and this is the kind that she had at the Seeing Eye, so we did buy this. But this video is all about the necessities, the things you absolutely have to have for such a wonderful little girl like this. And if you are blind and you're considering getting a guide dog, or if you're just a viewer and you're interested in what goes into the care and maintenance of a dog like Gretchen, then this is what the video is about. And I recently did a video about when you are physically, psychologically, emotionally ready for a guide dog. And part of the reason that it doesn't need to be a decision that's taken lightly is what I'm fixing to show you, because there's a lot that goes into what it is that she needs. The first thing, and I'll show you a lot of things that the Seeing Eye actually issued to us, because as I look at our things that she has, I've divided them up into things that we use daily and things that are necessities, but we don't use them daily. We use them periodically or weekly, but not daily. And the first thing that she absolutely has to have is this collar. This is a really, really nice stainless steel choke collar, and it's got like a dead ring on it and a choke ring, and she wears it constantly. She has never taken it off because I've groomed her, working around it, and I groom her every day. So the collar is issued by Seeing Eye. And the other thing issued by Seeing Eye that's absolutely a necessity, I'm down here on the floor right now, is her harness. And this harness is a really nice, heavy-duty, very well-made leather harness. And it's got a martingale strap. And lots of people have said it's absolutely gorgeous. It really is a substantial, nice leather harness. It's not really, really heavy, but it's not really, really light either. And it was custom made for her at the Seeing Eye. And some people don't even know why a blind person needs the harness. And we go into all that. When people ask me, I always tell them. So this is the harness, and it's really, really nice. And that's issued by Seeing Eye. And we use it every single day, all day long. And the other thing that we use every single day, all day long, is this leash. And this is her original leash that was issued by Seeing Eye. It's a really soft, beautiful, well-constructed leather leash with heavy-duty stainless steel hooks and latches. And so if you don't have the collar and the harness and the leash, you don't have a guide dog. But these were issued by Seeing Eye, and we use them every day, all day. And let me stand up because I was down on the floor. The other things I have set aside here to show what are necessities, what you absolutely have to have. And I've put them out on this is a little rolling this serving table, but she's got 2 bowls, and they're almost the exact same size as she had at the Seeing Eye, but I had 2 mixing bowls at home. That the larger one, which is about 12 inches, I've got her food in, and the one that is 10 inches, I've got water in. And the water one I will fill not fill it up, but I'll put water in it a couple of times a day, but they need to be this big because she's got a big snout. Now, we don't fill up the bowl with kibble. The Seeing Eye measured out exactly how much food Gretchen should have. So what I did is, you have to have measuring cups that equal what they told you to feed her. And Gretchen is on 1.25 cups. So you really need your measuring cups to measure out your food, and you need the 2 bowls because she's got to eat every single day. And And then moving over to like the environment more, you absolutely have to have poop bags. We get these, I believe, at Walmart. They're easy to open, easy to carry. They're very fast to open, and so I use this at least twice a day. Some days maybe once, some days maybe 3 times, but on a regular basis, twice a day, because she poops and I have to pick it up. And we call that, with Seeing Eye, we call that park time. So if you ever hear me talking about park time, that's going out and relieving herself. And she's real good about that. So I keep one of these in my bag all the time, wherever, maybe a pocket. But most of the time I keep them in a box. And here's the box that I keep right by the back door. And right now it's got my backpack in it. But that's not really a necessity, it's a nicety, and I just keep that in this box. The box is a nicety because it keeps all her supplies right where I need them. And it's nice to be organized when you have all this stuff you have to keep up with. The other thing that I find to be a necessity is this rolling tape lint brush that has sticky tape on it. And you get that at Walmart or Target or just wherever you get groceries, really. But I find that to be an absolute necessity because Gretchen sheds a lot, and we use this on we use it on upholstery, we use it on clothing, you keep one in the car. So I always keep this right in her box as well. And it's just, like I said, it's nice to keep up with stuff. Over here we have grooming things. Gretchen has to be groomed every single day. So there's no day that goes by that she doesn't have to be brushed or groomed. And the Seeing Eye issued this whole kit for grooming. Now I bought this one, but this is a smaller one. But we've got like a long toothed brush with a handle that's our first brush. Then this polishing brush, which is more fine bristles, and a wooden handle with a strap. That's her polishing brush. That's the second brush. And that makes her really, really pretty. This polishing brush is for like between her ears and more tender spots like her jowls, and then along the fronts of her legs, and the fronts of her front legs and her back legs. Now her back legs have feathers, the long hair, and Gretchen is a long-haired shepherd. And so this steel comb was issued by Seeing Eye. And some of us really didn't know what to do with it because some of the graduates had short-haired dogs. And so this probably really wouldn't be used at all for a short-haired dog. But for Gretchen, once I used these other brushes on her, and the final step is this comb, and it absolutely glides through her fur so nicely and gets all the residual hair off of her. Even her tail is very, very soft and pliable, and it has no tangles in it now. Her chest is very long hair. Underneath on her belly is very tender but long hair. So very carefully, this comb goes through all that long hair, and she just looks so silky and pretty when we get finished grooming. And we do it every day. It takes about 20 minutes to go through that whole routine. And then I keep it all in this pouch here, and then I put the pouch, it's a zip pouch, and I put it in her box. So all you have to do is grab it, go out the door, and do the grooming. It's all together in the pouch. The other thing that you do every single day is brush her teeth, and I keep all of her toothbrush stuff in a clear, this is a nice substantial clear pouch, and it's got a nice zipper on it. And this, the Seeing Eye didn't issue this, but they advised us and they took us to a supply place, and I purchased this, and it's really nice. But this is a very soft bristled finger brush, and she lets me get in her mouth and all around the inside of her mouth with that brush. And then I also use this is a long-handled, stronger bristled toothbrush, much stronger than humans would be. But she lets me get like the lingual side and the buccal side and certainly the canines. my husband, my husband is a dentist, and he likes to watch me brush Gretchen's teeth and use the proper words to go along with that. This is her peanut butter flavored toothpaste. So as long as I put that on her toothbrushes, no matter which one I use, she will just open up and let me just go to town in her mouth. She does not mind me at all brushing her teeth. She doesn't clamp down. She's just really good about that. So I keep it all in this pouch, and then once again, I put the pouch in the box that I keep all of her supplies in. And one other thing that you absolutely have to have is a vacuum, because a dog sheds a lot, and you don't want, dog hair everywhere. This is just my little handheld vac. It's electric, and it's got an extra long cord, but I do furniture with this, and I do baseboards and floors. We also have a Roomba, which runs all the time, and it is wonderful if you can find it in your budget to get a Roomba. It's worth, it cleans, especially if you have hardwoods or tile or laminate. The Roomba cleans very nicely. And then we have an upright that we push on carpets. So we have 3 different vacuums, and they all work different things with Gretchen's hair. And I found that a Swiffer also works nicely in the kitchen. So that works well, but you absolutely need some sort of vacuum cleaner in addition to that. So those are I would say the daily things. I vacuum every single day, but I keep my house pretty neat, and it needs to be, especially where Gretchen lays around. But those things are used every single day. Now, the other things that I have found to be necessities, but not used every day. They're used periodically, some regularly, and some, just as needed. But one is her gentle leader. This was issued by Seeing Eye, and this is just a little strap for those of you that really don't know what it is, and I had no idea that these things existed until I got Gretchen. But it's a little, it almost makes you think of a muzzle. It is not a muzzle at all. It's a little strap that goes over her nose, and then here's a little ring that attaches to her leash, and then the other little strap attaches around her neck, and it makes her think that I've got more control over her. And sometimes if people in public see her, they think, okay, that dog is well under control. Now, Gretchen, I can say I have used this gentle leader one time, and that was me using it preventive when we were going to a restaurant, and I just wasn't quite sure, how Gretchen would react. But Gretchen has got excellent public behavior, so I really don't need the gentle leader, but I do carry it with me, and I do keep it in her box. The other thing that I got at Seeing Eye were these little booties, and her 4 little booties, and they're for hot pavement or going up and down escalators. I've used them one time when I carried them with us because I knew that to go up and down the elevator, we'd have to walk 10 extra miles to get to the elevator. And so I brought the little booties, and I had them on her so that she could go up the escalator, and then we did a couple things, and then we went right down the escalator. Then I took them off of her because, down south, I don't use them that much. I try to avoid the hot pavement rather than put these on her every day, because I think that dogs express their heat through their feet. So I don't really use them as much as probably you might think that we would. And they come in this little sack, and I keep them in the sack. And again, I keep all of that in her box that's down there on the floor. This is a pouch that was issued by Seeing Eye. I use it. It's a necessity. I use it every time I want to train Gretchen on something new, something that we haven't done. You hook this pouch to your pants or your belt loop, your belt, and you put the kibble in it, and it closes up. And then inside the pouch, I'll show you, is her clicker. And that's the noise you hear when you're training her. So as soon as she does the proper thing, you hear the clicker noise, and then she gets a little kibble after she hears that noise. Now, if she comes in here, hey, Gretchen, did you hear that? Let me get you a little kibble over here. You didn't do anything. Come, girl. But I'll see if I can find a little bit of, I think she's got a little right here. Just a little bit of her food. Come here, girl. Come here. That's a girl. You don't want it? Well, I clicked for you. What did you do that was so good? I'll put it in her little nose to nose down here. Okay, and I don't mean to be moving the camera around, kind of moving it as I go. The other thing is a tie down. I don't think I mentioned that. A tie down is something that you use. It's a really, really heavy duty cable with really, really heavy duty clips. And I've used it one time when I went to the dentist office, and it was the first time I had Gretchen. And of course, the dentist is such a dog lover. You know, he's going, oh my gosh, the dog should be able to just go all around my office and my operatories and all that. And I said, no, she needs to stay right here at the chair at the foot of where we are. And she did. Like I said, Gretchen has got such excellent public behavior that I really haven't had to use the tie down, but you need it. When you need it, you need it. And it's a very heavy duty way to secure your dog when the leash is not appropriate or too long or too pliable. The other thing that you can't forget are medications. She has to take one heartworm medication and one parasite like flea medication. I think those are the two medications. She has to take those on the 1st of every month, and you have to go to the vet and get another prescription when these run out. So those are things you absolutely have to have and keep, because once they started her own these at Seeing Eye when she was born, I guess, and when I left, they had issued me a supply to get me through several months until I could establish the routine with my veterinarian and Gretchen. And so this came from my vet, but she has to have those, and she has to go to her vet visits. The other thing that I use very, very often when we go out, like we might be gone for 6 hours, during Gretchen's mealtime, these are flat, fold up bowls that I bought at Seeing Eye, and they're really cute, but they have lids on them, and then you can, they're like an accordion that flattens down, but then you can open it up and put food in one and water in the other. So I just take a water bottle with me, and I open up the bowl like this, and then put the water down in it, out of a water bottle. And then when she finishes drinking, of course you can't hardly do it with one hand, but when she finishes drinking, you just flatten it out again and then put the top on it and put it in your bag. So it's really easy to carry. The other thing that I use is this reflective vest. And my husband made me get that because Gretchen and I walk in the morning, early sometimes, and in the evening, late after the sun goes down, because, especially in the summer, we found that, and this is my first summer with Gretchen, we have found that it is really, really hot in the middle of the day. So lots of times we'll actually go to a meeting or an appointment in the car. We might walk home, but for exercise, when we walk at night or walk in the morning, I use the vest. And then let me see if I can find the one. Here's the one other thing. This was issued by Seeing Eye, and this is her bell that goes on her collar. And I usually don't use it. Again, all these things here are things that you need, but you don't have to have on a daily basis. But I would still consider them necessities and not niceties. This bell I use when we have a lot of company in our house, and Gretchen is off harness or off leash. Now, she never ever goes outside unless she's on a leash. So this I only use inside when we have a lot of people here, but she's got the freedom to roam around so that I always know where she is. And other than that, I really don't use the bell because she usually stays with me. She'll follow me everywhere in the house. The nose-to-nose soft crate we bought, but it's identical to the one that she stayed in at the Seeing Eye. And then we bought this extra thick pad that she lays on. They issued a nice quilted pad at the Seeing Eye. I thought it was in here, but I don't really, no, I don't see it. But they issued one. The other thing is her bone. I considered the bone, and I think Gretchen considers her bone a necessity. She chews on this every single day, many times a day. And it's so good for them to have an outlet for their energy. When I'm busy doing something, or I'm at an appointment, or I'm in a meeting, especially if the meeting is going to be long. And I've gone to some meetings that, ended up being 2.5, 3 hours. And so if I bring the bone and she's not disturbing anyone, she can chew on the bone and get a lot of her nervous energy out that way. And the other thing that she has to have that I think is essential is a toy, and she picked this out. It's her monkey. It just looks like a little dead animal. Look, it just hangs. It's got these long hanging legs and arms that have little squeaky things, and the belly squeaks and its head squeaks, and she carries it around in her mouth like a little dead animal. And I'll find it everywhere. I'll find it by the front door, by the back door. I'll find it in this nose-to-nose because sometimes she sleeps with it. But she loves her monkey, and she loves her bone. So I consider those things just like food and water and love and petting as something that is a necessity that she needs. So I think one of the main things that I have learned is keeping up with all of this stuff is not as difficult when it's organized. And if you are organized, it becomes a little easier. Like, for example, this harness. We have, let me go over here behind the door here, and on all of our doors, we have big, heavy, we live in an old house, so we have these big, heavy doors, but we also have hooks in every room, and so I keep a lot of her stuff hanging on hooks. Her harness is on a hook, my vest is on a hook, her tie down is on a hook, and a lot of the other stuff is in a box right by the back door. And her leash stays on the doorknob. Went right to it. Her leash stays on the doorknob where I take her out every single day. And then I have a second leash that I purchased that stays on the front doorknob, so that no matter which way I go, and sometimes, like, if she has an emergency relief issue, like she has to go part-time right now, we run out the door, and by the back door we have all this stuff, and her poop bags are right in there, and then we throw the poop bags in the trash outside. I've trained her to take me to the trash can outside, and she takes me right to it after she goes part-time. So that's everything that I think is on the list of both periodically needed necessities and daily needed necessities. One other thing is it was very helpful when I first got Gretchen to get a gate like this. This is a baby gate, and it's put up like between the door frame like that right there. And we needed it for our dining room and our living room because Gretchen was having park time in those two rooms. And I was just shocked because I didn't know that, she wasn't completely potty trained. But I found that putting up gates and just kind of segregating her from those rooms she realized very quickly that those rooms were off limits. And all that was a learning curve for her when she first got here. And she has not had any mishaps or accidents since we segregated those rooms. And now, as you can see, we don't even have the baby gate up anymore because she's now trained. She can go in and out of those rooms, but she knows that she doesn't relieve herself inside the house. And so that's about everything. And I hope that you have learned something. If you are a person considering getting a guide dog yourself, these are the things you have to consider. There's a lot that you have to keep up with. And like I said, being organized really helps. I am not by nature an organized person, or I wasn't, let's say I didn't grow up with organizational skills. I've learned them as an adult, but being blind, it really helps to force yourself to be organized. And I've learned the hard way that if you're not organized, you lose these things. And these things, like I have said, like the whole point of the video is, are the things that you need for your dog every single day. So you really can't afford to lose them or not to have them, because you use them often and you use them regularly. So I hope you've enjoyed the video and have learned something. And if I can answer any additional questions, don't hesitate to comment or ask. I would love to have comments. I'm still learning about YouTube, so I'm learning, I'm doing all this myself. So I'm learning how to respond and actually receive the emails with a comment. So feel free to ask any questions, and I'll continue to do videos. And I hope you have a great day, everyone. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.